Good morning, dear children. Children, in the previous class, we had discussed about the chapter The Sound of Music, Part 2, The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Children, we had discussed the chapter overview and its summary. Today, children, we shall deal with the chapter in detail. For that, you need to have the book. Children, though the chapter would be reflecting on the screen, but still, it would be better if you have the book. Go to page number 21. Now children, the very first paragraph, that is paragraph number 1. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Children, banned here is prohibited. Shrill means very sharp sound. Now pungi was a musical instrument, the predecessor of the shehnai. When the Mughals ruled India, before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. He did not allow the pungi to be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Then, pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Now children, generic name is a name given to a class or group as a whole. Reeded noisemakers. Reeded here is wind instruments which have reeds like the flute, the clarinet, etc. So children, any musical instrument which is made with reeds, like we have flutes, clarinets, they are all classified as pungi. So pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. Now, a barber of a family of professionals, musicians who had access to the royal palace, decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. Now children, as the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber who belonged to a family of professional musicians, and he wanted to play the pungi, but he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve the sound. Well, what did he do? The barber took a pipe which had a hollow stem. It was longer and broader than the pungi. Thus he made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Now, he played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. So children, what happened? The barber played this instrument in the royal court and everyone liked the sound produced by it. Thus, the royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi, and so it should have a different name also. Now, as the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a nai, that is a barber, the instrument was named the shehnai. Now, there is a story behind the name given to this instrument. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of the Shah. Shah was a name given to the king. Now, as the nai, that is the Indian term used for barber, had played it for the first time, they called it shehnai, and from that time this instrument was named as shehnai. The sound of the shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In the past, the shehnai was part of the naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Now children, here in this paragraph, the Shehnai was a part of the Naubat. Naubat is an Urdu word and it means traditional ensemble, that means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. Now these 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court and Shehnai was also a part of Naubat. Now the Shehnai was played at the king's court, in temples and at weddings, but for all this, Ustad Bismillah Khan was considered to be a legendary Shehnai player and people wanted to hear him play the Shehnai. Now, as a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda, a traditional game, near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, that is the Bharat Ratna. Children, the great legendary Ustad Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916. Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasool Baks Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur king's court. His father Paigambar Baks and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Paragraph 5. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Baks was employed to play the Shehnai. Ali Baks would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of the Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Children, solitude is loneliness. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise, that is, to enhance, improve the invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Now children, also you can see Ustad Bismillah Khan, like when in his initial days he would go to the nearby Bihariji temple, although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim. So here he tries to promote communal harmony. At the same time, the writer says that this incident occurred when Bismillah was 5 years old, that he would get this laddu as a reward. But after 8 years, we all know that he earned the highest civilian award in India, that is the Bharat Ratna. Now, children, when Bismillah Khanji was just 3 years old, his mother took him to her parents' house, that is to his maternal uncle's. And when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncles play the Shehnai, he was attracted, fascinated towards it, and he also wanted to learn playing it. Bismillah Khan started going with his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple in Benares. Ali Baks was on a duty to play the Shehnai at the Vishnu temple of Benares. Now children, when Bismillah Khan saw his uncle Ali Baks playing the Shehnai, he would get very much attracted towards it, that he would sit there for hours listening to him play the Shehnai. Now children, captivated here is attracted. On end is for a very long time without stopping continuously. Now at the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Faiz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. The biggest break of Bismillah Khan. that is All India Radio. So when the All India Radio started, it's a radio station at Lucknow, Ustad Bismillah Khan started performing from there, and often his Shehnai performance would be on air. Now children, when India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Raag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated or to be charmed with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film Goonj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit, and one of Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sanadhi Apanna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. So children, Bismillah Khan gave many performances in India and abroad. He even went to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah, as a token of love, presented him a Persian carpet. Now children, there were many other people who were attracted to his Shehnai's music. So he also got a very big break in Bollywood. And the song Goonj Uthi Shehnai, the movie Goonj Uthi Shehnai, the song named Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, was very well composed by Ustad Bismillah Khan. And that song became a chart buster. Chart buster is record breaker. Now, children, although his songs or this song became a chart buster, Bismillah Khan got a lot of success in this film. But he composed music for only two films. One for Vijay Bhatt and the other a Kannada movie made by Vikram Srinivas called Sanadhi Apanna. Now, Ustad Bismillah Khan would say that he did not like the artificial world of films and the glamour that was there in the film world. That was why he did not compose music for many movies. Children, awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. That is Tehar Mosik Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness. He said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. That is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by duplicating the temples there. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport River Ganga as well. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan." While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the Holy Ganga. And while in Banaras, I miss the unique Mattha of Dumrao. Children, Bismillah Khan's hard work gave him enough rewards and prizes. Although Ustad Bismillah Khan ji had travelled all over the world, he was given so much respect and recognition, he remained rooted. Banaras, where he learned music, and Dumrao, where he was born and brought up, were the two most wonderful towns of the world for him. He was so down to earth, children, that although he had travelled all over the world, still he was attached to his birthplace. Now, children, there was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan. This incident is very important. There was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan, and he wanted that Ustad Bismillah Khan should set up a Shehnai school in USA. He promised that he would recreate the temple of Banaras in America. But Ustad Bismillah Khan was so attached to river Ganga that he asked his student that would he transport the river Ganga also to America. Now, Ustad Bismillah Khan said that whenever he visited any foreign country, he longed to see India. This much patriotism this man, this great legendary figure had. He wanted to return to India, and then he says that when he was in India, in Mumbai, he yearned to visit Banaras and the Ganga river. And when he was in Banaras, he missed his birthplace, Dumrao, and Mattha, where he sang Chaita and was rewarded, if you remember, with a laddu of 1.25 kgs. Last paragraph, children, paragraph 13. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Children, devout is again a belief, a strong belief in a religion. So here the writer says that Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. His work was beyond the religion barriers. Although he was a strict Muslim, he followed the Muslim laws, but every morning he would play the Shehnai at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, which was a Hindu temple. This shows that he did not have the barriers of religion in his mind. He was a true Indian. He considered music to be India's richest cultural heritage. Ustad Bismillah Khan, children, had been ill for a long time, and he died on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90. The entire country mourned the death of the legendary musician. There was a holiday for one day, and he was given a state funeral. Children, this is the detailed explanation of the chapter. I hope this will help you. The work related to this would be given in the next class. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.